it's good to know names and know faces and be familiar and friendly with people before you go in with a sort of cold call email asking for a chance. I was getting paid probably less than the bar staff, and that didn't matter. It was having a long set and gaining the confidence to be able to queue up tracks, understand what could work next, and just losing the sort of jittery nerves, which I think you naturally have for quite a long time.
I was talking for ages. We just didn't stop.
Well, that's really good though.
But yeah, it was a nice chat. That's pretty cool. Hey, a friend of mine got it from. Where did you get it from? He got it from Thailand, I think.
Really?
Such a cool little gizmo.
Yeah.
Very pretty. Yeah. Well, Phoebe, thanks for sitting with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's very civilised with our
water here.
With our chilled fizzy water.
No, this is still actually.
Is it?
This is still.
It's like, gave a little.
Oh dear, there's so many bugs in there. I can't drink that. That's a terrible idea.
In the country.
Oh dear. So you've toured the world, Phoebe, as a DJ. You've played in some pretty epic places, and you've got the career of somebody who is fully fledged in the music game. How did you get started?
It's a good question. I didn't grow up knowing I would work in music. I learnt piano as a kid, casually. Okay. But compared to other people at my school, I wouldn't have said I was hugely musical. I was a music fan rather than a musician myself. But collecting music is something I've always done. And I was 18 when I started learning to DJ, and it wasn't with a career in mind. It was actually a DJ set in Ibiza. I saw Roger Sanchez play.
Amazing.
And it was the catalyst. It was this incredible, he'd do these mammoth sets. He still does. He's still touring himself and has a couple of decades on me, I would say now. But being out there, seeing one of these mammoth sort of 7-hour sets and it having a really emotional impact on me at the end, he finished with a song I loved at the time, and it brought happy tears. And there was just this moment where I thought, not I want to be Roger Sanchez, but I thought I would love to be able to learn how to DJ.
Yeah.
And yeah, from that point, I didn't have decks at home or anything. I just thought I'd love to learn how. And in quite a studious way, I suppose, I sought out a course and did like a basic vinyl DJ course that was a month long. And from there, it turned from a little hobby into something I just wanted to do all the time. And then slowly it was something I was able to turn into a paid job. And then I kind of ran with it.
Great.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience. I saw a saxophonist live, Angela Christie, her name is, and I saw her playing, and I thought to myself, I want to do that. That is just incredible. You know, you're just moved by the performance, the sound, and then you're like, how do I get there into that position? So you had a similar type of experience. So you mentioned that it wasn't something that you necessarily sought out to be a career as such. You didn't necessarily do it to pay the bills, but actually, slowly, it became a viable option. Yeah. How did you make the transition? And are you doing it now full time?
Yeah, so I've always been a creative person, and I come from a family of creatives. So I think doing something in the arts was probably my destiny anyway. But Yeah, I would say, because actually at the time that I started to learn to DJ, I was at a dance college. So I was sort of on this path thinking, oh, maybe I want to work in musical theatre or be on stage in some way. And so when I left school, that's what I was sort of pursuing. I was studying that kind of multidiscipline, so singing, dancing, acting. And then I was doing that alongside picking up a new skill, which was DJing. And so as a sort of dancer performer, I guess, that world is very competitive. I studied that for 4 years, kind of got in onto the audition circuit and things like that. And definitely as a female in that world, you've got queues around the block to enter an audition for, I don't know, a panto or a cruise ship, something like that. Yeah. And it was mad how when I first started DJing, as a really inexperienced, probably quite rubbish, technically, newbie, it was quite quick that there was interest and opportunity coming and falling into my lap, and this lack of competition. And I won't say that it was taking the easy route, but it was mad how something I had years of experience in, and there was so many other people that you're in essence competing against for the same roles, whereas in music and DJing, with absolutely sod all experience, to be honest, I was being offered jobs with not really any credentials at all, which served as great experience initially as well. Of course, there's this strange kind of, I don't know if, I don't want to call it a rite of passage because it's not something you have to do, but to play in clubs like Ministry of Sound, they'd have this system where as a DJ to be booked, you're not getting paid, you're having to sell tickets. So you're kind of having to force your friends to support you, and they think, oh great, you're playing, I'll get a guest list. It doesn't work like that. You're having to convince people to support you and fork out at the time, as well as a student, 15 quid or something to come. And tragically, it got to the point where I was having to pay for some of these tickets.
So you're doing these gigs at a loss almost.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's this pressure on, and you've got these promoters sort of on your back saying, right, how many have you shifted? Because in some way their job's on the line, but it's sort of, you're becoming kind of a promoter. And some people would find that very easy, and they've got, you know, a huge social circle. I've always been someone with like a handful of friends rather than a big pack and a huge, but as well at that age when you're 18, people don't really have the money to be forking out weekend. They might support you the first time, but you know, the enthusiasm naturally going to dip when so there was a stage where I was doing other work for a while, you know, working in bars and in retail, things like that, before I was able to actually make a modest living from it. But I suppose, it was luck that created or gave me an opportunity. I was found on Soundcloud actually by Head Candy, who are a sort of sub brand of Ministry of Sound. And it was through a mix I shared on there that I was asked to audition to be one of their world touring DJs, and it just came out of the blue in your sort of message inbox on there, and I had an audition for them on the same day that I had an interview to work as a sort of temporary retail assistant for an agency, you know, working in department stores and that sort of thing. On this same day, it was a real sort of life crossroads.
Fork in the road, that, isn't it? Wow. And you chose creativity.
Well, I did actually said yes to both at the time, did the retail for a bit, and then the DJ stuff took off, and that's when the sort of world touring thing started.
So you found yourself on SoundCloud. You're getting mixes out on SoundCloud to get noticed, and I guess nowadays, you know, social media, everybody uses it, at least in the music game anyway. It's very prevalent, and it's a good way to sort of be discovered. But for you, it was more of maybe around the time, like you said, you're a bit more niche, so you didn't necessarily have to be great at the thing. Quite early in your career, you was able to get noticed and get some good experience. But for those who, let's say nowadays, everybody's posting something online, there's 1,000 DJs. How do you separate yourself from the pack now, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think to have a niche style and to be able to identify your own tastes and refine them and not necessarily dilute yourself to suit a mass market. I think social media now, whilst it brings there are negatives about it, I think the positives are that if a tiny subgenre is your thing, you can really commit to that and find your audience. Whereas before, I think, because of algorithms and things like that, I think these days you can find an audience by being very unique. Perhaps before it was harder. I think I would have made mixes to sort of suit different tastes and genres just to give myself a better chance. Whereas now I think, if you're clear in your identity, the engagement from the right people will come with consistent posting and things like that. As a DJ and artist, I would say a lot of what I do by choice is more of a service. And so in my nature, I am a bit of a chameleon. Because the environments that I work in, the brands I work with, or private parties and things like that, I have chosen to adapt. It's the technical aspects of DJing that I love so much. So sonically, I think I'm a little bit more flexible than some artists who will stick to one thing. I've just chosen a different avenue, and I like adapting, and I do like the variety. But I think, that as a DJ, I would say a lot of my work is that of a service to create the right soundtrack to suit the brief and the environment, rather than this is who I am and you book me as this particular vibe.
We did have the pleasure of working together, and so the occasion was a wedding out here in the Cotswolds, and you provided not only your decks, you provided the whole thing. You provided the lighting, the sound, and as well as obviously the experience, and it was tailored very much to the couple and the family. But if you're starting out, I imagine you don't start out and buy the whole rig. You don't say, I want to be a DJ, therefore I need a PA system. What's a good place to start with maybe software or hardware? Where's a beginning DJ going to start?
Yeah, I think to kick off and be able to be booked and offer something that makes you an asset, having your own DJ setup, whether that's decks or a portable controller, is a really good place to start. They can be really inexpensive and still very good and portable. You can get something this size that will fit in a bag, and you can get something like that for around £150 that's sonically sound. Everything's a little bit more compressed.
Sure.
But as a starting point, I do think it's an expensive hobby, let alone professional career. So to fork out for thousands of pounds for CDJs and a mixer, and it's a huge commitment. You could be talking £5,000 for 2 or 3 CDJs and a professional mixer. So to start with something that's a couple of £100, which is portable and you could take to places like bars, and they will probably have integrated sound systems anyway. So I think starting there is a really good place. And as time's gone on, I've just upgraded my setup to include things like speakers and not beginning at top of the range, because it is prohibitively expensive to go for the pro standard or club quality equipment. And when I bought CDJs for the first time, I was looking on eBay. I would find ways to find new, unboxed but pristine, just to save a bit. Now with, say, the lighting rig, another thing you have to think about is space. Do you have at home, can you lug speakers up the stairs if you live in a flat or something like that? I now have a garage where I live, so that's great for storage. I drive a van. That's quite a big commitment, but that I didn't get to that point until a few years down the line when it made sense. And I do the school run in the van, and it's not what people expect of me, but it's grown gradually and in a sort of a considered way. I think it would be foolish to, I don't know, get a big loan and fork it. It's made sense because the business demand the growth has sort of facilitated the further investment. But start small and just improve, and you can trade things in as you go. As I got rid of my decks. I didn't need them anymore. I thought a controller made more sense for me, and I started with the one I described, one that plugs into a laptop, for, again, secondhand, eBay. And when I didn't need that anymore, sell it on and improve. And now, with lights, I want to continue getting more. But the van, it's at capacity now. If I want more, got to get a bigger van. With that, it's like, parking, driving a big bulky thing in central London, a diesel sort of guzzling thing. But the growth has happened naturally and organically, and as a result, over time, I'm doing fewer gigs and generating more, and it's all going in the right direction, I would say.
Sure. So it's your experience has gone up, and therefore your contacts have gone up, and as they've gone up, the gear and equipment you've got has had to level up also. But you're not necessarily jumping ahead of yourself. It's all growing in the right sort of way. Sounds about right.
And at the same time, I'm not going to try and compete with pro production companies. I have a background in sound engineering, but primarily I really just like playing the music. That's my passion. I'm more than happy to plug everything in and get my hands dirty in the setup and things like that. But it's nice to be at a tier where I can supply a good level of quality setup, but it's sort of in a middle rung where it makes it accessible to more people. But those wanting full production, or loads of lights, I'm not aspiring to that. I like being fairly independent, and I don't have lofty dreams of having a huge team and doing the biggest, I like where I'm at, and I think that there might be some further growth, maybe a bigger van and a bit more stuff. But I'm so happy where I am. I love the work I do, the level it's at, the people I work with.
Great.
And to keep that going is just where I want to be.
So I've got a few more questions for you. I know you've got to head off to a gig. I mean, to be fair, so do I. So I won't keep you for too much longer. But how does one approach residencies? And are they even worth it? What do you reckon?
I think residencies are a great move when you're starting out. Experience. I think experience is the main thing. I think as a DJ, when you have dreams of being busy, well paid and fulfilled, you'll start out maybe with less experience and maybe less music. Getting a residency will give you the hours in the booth. You will react to different types of crowds. So much of it is gaining resilience and understanding how to interact with people. People.
Snap. Remember that point.
Be right back.
Hilarious.
Yeah, where were we? Yeah, so residencies.
Yeah.
The experience that you get dealing with people, because people can be tricky. People can make the experience or sort of ruin it. And so much of when you're a DJ, you will be interacting with all sorts of types, good, bad, the ugly. And so residencies will really give you an insight on humanity.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And when I think it's good to return to the same venue a few times, and you can gauge your improvements technically, and then having experience in different environments will teach you to be more adaptable to different crowds and so on. But for me, yes, early on having residencies, long hour sets, sort of 6 hours, I was getting paid probably less than the bar staff, and that didn't matter. It was having a long set and gaining the confidence to be able to queue up tracks, understand what could work next, and just losing the sort of jittery nerves, which I think you naturally have for quite a long time. I don't do residencies now, but that is really because of the experience that I have gained through doing residencies. Sure. And I'd say the way I would recommend going about acquiring residencies is going to the venues and sort of supporting nights, the ones that you want to be seen to be playing at. It's good to know names and know faces and be familiar and friendly with people before you go in with a sort of cold call email asking for a chance. I'd say people are really, on the whole, open and supportive of upcoming talent, and to not be afraid to ask for a shot. But then, when I started, socials weren't really a thing. They might ask to see a SoundCloud, but Instagram wasn't a thing. Having mixes on SoundCloud was good for me, but now having, I think, clips, even if it's not in a bar or a public environment, having video examples of you DJing or mixes, audio. I think people like video as much, if not more, than audio mixes. But having some examples of your style, your vibe, will really help you, and people might want to give you a warm-up slot. It might not be an all-night thing, and also not to expect to be paid initially.
Sure,
it won't last forever, but experience becomes the currency in a way. It's valuable, and you will start. Once you gain the experience, then you can make it support you financially, but that's the starting point. And it does mean sometimes for many you will have to work a second job to begin with. I mean, working in a bar for me was helpful when I was working in a club behind a bar, and then I ended up being able to DJ there once. That worked well because I knew the people there already, and I could have a practice on the decks when I didn't own any myself. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
So, last question for you, and I end all my conversations with this question. What is the single most valuable opinion you have of yourself?
I feel very lucky that from very young I have always pursued the thing that I love. no matter how it was perceived. I've always prioritized choosing the things that I know will make me happy and believing that the rest will follow. I've never had a strategy to get to a specific place, but I believed then, and I still believe now, that pursuing the thing you love will always work out in the end. Yeah, and I think,
Amazing.
I hold that true, and I feel, passionate about sharing that message with others who want to be on a journey to, pursue a career in something that they're passionate about and they don't know where to begin. It will work out if you put it all into it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thanks Tashomi for having me.
So welcome, so welcome. Lovely having the backdrop of a lawnmower than a helicopter. But no, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It is fascinating, just this whole journey, isn't it? Because we start with the idea of, well, maybe we have different starting points. I never thought I would be doing this professionally or full-time. In fact, I didn't want to do music full-time. I wanted to... There's a chap, you may be familiar with him, by the name of Bill Clinton.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, I don't know, I think he was in politics. He, a president, but also a saxophonist.
Oh, really?
And not many people know he's a saxophonist.
No, didn't know that.
But he was also a president, right? So I sort of said to myself, well, Bill can, be in charge of the free world and do the sax on the side.
Yeah.
Why would I seek the saxophone as my main thing when other people just have it as a little side hustle? So I thought, actually, I'm not going to do this thing full time. And then I remember I got a gig in theatre, and I was the saxophonist for this theatre production, and the production was about Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and all the women in Bill's life. And I was playing the metaphorical presence of Bill on the sax. So
this is so fun. How good is that?
It's amazing. And to be honest, I felt that was life's way of saying, are you sure you don't want to do this thing? Do you know what I mean? And from there, I was like, actually, I think I will kind of give it a go.
Yeah.
And see if I can make something of it. It seemed like life's kind of little practical joke on that idea that I had.
Oh, that sounds like a really good experience.
It's just turned into kind of my life, really.
Yeah.
But I think for people who become successful, it never starts like, I'm going to be successful at this thing.
No.
Not to say that those people who do have that passion, that desire won't be, but I find that there's an expectation that they should be successful, and they sort of maybe don't even attract some of the chance happenings because they're a bit anxious and they want the thing to happen.
Yeah. I think sometimes even just pressure from family or friends to sort of, come on now, are you gonna...
Yeah, exactly.
Like the sort of eye roll sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel very lucky to have never had that. Never any pressure to make something. I mean, my dad used to, it came across as patronising, but it was meant with such goodness. He used to go, so professional, something like that. And my mum would look at me, nearly worth the sort of like little head pat.
Yeah.
But I think
it was affirmation though, wasn't it? It was encouragement.
Yeah.
And that's how you received it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep you too much longer.
Come on then.
We must go.